Chapter 1, Mishnah 1. Each night, 3 Kohanim and 21 Levim would stand guard in the temple. The Mishnah begins by listing the places where the Kohanim stood. The Kohanim would stand guard in 3 places in the Holy Temple. 1 Kohen stood at the chamber of Avtinas, 1 stood in the chamber of the spark, and 1 stood in the hall of the fire. The chamber of Avtinas and the chamber of the spark were upper stories, that is, raised chambers built above ground level, and the youngsters would stand guard there in these 2 chambers. The hall of the fire was not a raised chamber like the other 2, but was built on the ground and was covered by a large roof in the shape of a dome. And it was a large house, surrounded on the inside with ledges made of stone. And the elders of the Beis Av would sleep there on the ledges, and the keys of the courtyard gates were kept there under their control, while the young Kohanim who would stand guard in the hall of the fire during the night, each man with his own bedding, would sleep on the floor until it was time for their watch to begin. The Mishnah teaches a related law. The Kohanim would not sleep in the holy garments, i.e. the Kohanic garments, because this would be disrespectful. Rather, they would remove them and fold them and place them under their heads, and they would wear their own personal clothing during the night. If one of the Kohanim in the hall of the fire experiences a seminal emission during the night, he becomes Tamid and is referred to as a Baal Keri. In order to become fully tahor, he must immerse in a mikveh and wait until nightfall. A Baal Keri is forbidden to enter the temple mount, and one who becomes a Baal Keri while on the mount is required to leave immediately. A Kohen sleeping in the hall of the fire who becomes a Baal Keri could not simply leave the temple, though, because the gates were locked. The Mishnah therefore discusses what would be done in this case. If one of the Kohanim sleeping in the hall of the fire experienced a seminal emission, he would leave the sleeping area and go into the tunnel that went under the Bira, the temple. And the lamps were lit on either side of the tunnel to light the way. And he walked until he reached the Kohanim's private immersion room located beneath the temple. There was a large warming fire there, and a bathroom of dignity. And this was its dignity. If one found the door closed, he knew that someone was in there. If he found it open, he knew that no one was in there. This system preserved the dignity of the Kohanim by ensuring that no one accidentally walked into the bathroom while someone else was using it. The Kohen went down into the mikveh and immersed, and he came up and dried himself off, and warmed himself in front of the large fire. He then came back to the hall of the fire and sat next to his fellow Kohanim for the rest of the night until the gates were opened. In the morning he left the temple and went home, because he was not able to perform the Avodah that day.